All right, so Kamala Harris's role as vice president is starting off very, very poorly.
65,000 lives that have been cut short. Many with loved ones who never got the chance to say goodbye. It didn't have to be this way. 6 years ago, in fact, we had a different health crisis. It was called Ebola. And we all remember that pandemic. But you know what happened then? Barack Obama and Joe Biden did their job. Only 2 people in the United States died. 2. That is what's called leadership. But compare that to the moment we find ourselves in now. When other countries are following the science, Trump pushed miracle cures he saw on Fox News. While other countries were flattening the curve, he said the virus would 65,000 lives
All right, so
that have been cut short.
there's no way they're trying to win. Like, do you really believe they're trying to win this? Like, that's the worst argument I ever thought of. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, those are the people who are standing between us and fascism. Very good to know. So she compares Ebola to the current pandemic, and she calls Ebola a pandemic, which it wasn't a pandemic. It wasn't a global contagious disease. Pathogens were not shooting out of people's mouths and infecting entire rooms. Ebola was a very isolated thing that scared people for no reason because of media propaganda. I spend a good amount of time criticizing the right for using fake arguments and not paying attention to reality or actual data or anything. I criticize them all the time for it. But how am I supposed to argue for this? As much of a grueling process as it is to decide to consider voting for Joe Biden at this point, after all that happened, they're making it very hard to do that, even if you want to. We are currently going through one of the largest mass casualty events in American history, and they are unable to capitalize on it. They are unable to make an actual poignant argument at all of the areas Trump has failed so far. This is incredibly easy. Incredibly easy to just attack the testing, the propaganda, the lying about the drugs, the shady deals with different vaccine producers, trying to get a contract for our country that limits the rest of the world from having access to a vaccine. Everything Trump has done up to this point that has caused an extra 100,000 people to die, that is easy to attack, is right out there. And she decides to bring up Ebola and compare it to a global pandemic that shut the world down for months. Are you kidding me? Nothing on the economic response of this pandemic, nothing on healthcare for Americans. She conflates it with Ebola, which was barely even anything but a news story. H1N1 made Ebola look like nothing. Flu season makes Ebola look like nothing. Ebola was not a big deal at all, and I think any person with common sense knows that. So how can we even think that they are trying to win right now? There's no way they're trying to actually beat Donald Trump. Picking Kamala Harris as the VP for Joe Biden. They don't give a crap about beating Donald Trump. For them, neoliberal corporatism, which is better than fascism, or fascism, are the same. The same outcomes for the leaders of our society. That's why they didn't want someone like Bernie to win. They know if either of those sides wins, then their profits are protected, and society as we know it is going to stay the same. And they're feeding off that. They know if Trump wins again, then they have a big support base around the country that's going to keep power with the Democrats within the Democratic Party, because Trump is so terrible and dangerous. So it makes everyone, suck up to the Democrats and have no other choice. And we do have no other choice. This or fascism. They are standing between us and fascism. Great to know.